You know that feeling when you're pushing harder and harder but barely moving forward? Well, what if I told you that aiming for 10 times growth is actually easier than doubling your results?
It sounds counterintuitive, right? But recent research is showing exactly that. Trying to achieve 10x results often requires less effort than pushing for 2x improvement.
Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of 10x mindsets, how to think bigger, achieve more, and why the conventional wisdom about growth might be holding you back.
And you know what's really interesting? This isn't just theory. We're seeing this play out in businesses and organizations worldwide.
Before we dive in, can you explain what exactly is a 10x mindset?
Well, according to Dr. Benjamin Hardy and Dan Sullivan's research, a 10x mindset is about fundamentally shifting how you see and operate in the world.
So it's not just about working 10 times harder?
Actually, that's a common misconception. It's about working smarter, not harder. The key is breaking free from conventional limitations and focusing on what truly matters.
You mentioned something fascinating earlier about 10x being easier than 2x. Can you elaborate on that?
Here's the thing, when you aim for 2x growth, you're stuck in the same framework, just trying to optimize what already exists.
Right, like pushing a boulder uphill, but faster.
Exactly. But when you aim for 10x, you're forced to completely reimagine your approach. You can't get there by just working harder, you need to think differently.
You know what's fascinating? Our brains actually play a huge role in this through something called the reticular activating system.
Oh, that's really interesting. Can you explain how that works?
Well, according to the research, our RAS filters what we notice based on what we believe is possible. If we think small, we only see small opportunities.
And when we think 10x, our brain literally starts noticing bigger opportunities that were there all along?
Exactly. It's like upgrading your brain's search algorithm.
You know, this reminds me of something fascinating about loss aversion in psychology.
Oh? Tell me more about that.
Research shows that people feel twice as much psychological pain from losses as pleasure from equivalent gains. This actually explains why many resist 10x thinking.
Because they're more focused on what they might lose than what they could gain?
Precisely. But here's where it gets interesting. Let's talk about the 5 pillars of a 10x mindset.
I'm all ears.
The first pillar is vision thinking. Instead of asking what's achievable, you ask what's truly possible if you remove all constraints.
That's a huge shift in perspective.
The second pillar is clarity of focus. This is crucial. 10x isn't about doing more, it's about doing less with ruthless precision.
Wait, doing less? That seems counterintuitive.
Warren Buffett actually said something fascinating about this. He believes the difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything.
That's powerful. What's the third pillar?
The third pillar is challenge constraints. Instead of accepting conventional wisdom, you question everything.
Like Google's approach to moonshot projects?
Exactly. Larry Page, Google's co-founder, always asks, how can we make this 10 times better instead of just 10% better?
And that's led to some pretty incredible innovations.
The fourth pillar is drive innovation. This means actively seeking fresh ideas and transformative strategies.
And the fifth?
The fifth pillar is scale your impact. This is about creating exponential value, whether in business, team leadership, or personal goals.
Can you share some real-world examples of 10x thinking in action?
Sure. One fascinating example is from Rocket Alumni Solutions. Instead of just trying to improve donor outreach, they completely transformed the donor experience.
What did they do?
They reinvented donor recognition through interactive storytelling, which led to an 80% revenue surge and 25% increase in repeat giving.
That's impressive. Any other examples?
Another great example is the traveling therapist. Instead of just trying to see more clients, they turned their individual therapy services into a scalable online course.
How did that work out?
They reached over 950 clinicians, multiplying their impact without multiplying their hours.
So it's really about working smarter, not harder.
Exactly. And here's what's really interesting. Studies show that people who engage with 10x thinking actually display higher levels of cognitive complexity and moral reasoning.
So it's not just about business results, it actually changes how we think?
Precisely. It's about developing what Carol Dweck calls a growth mindset, believing that abilities can be developed through effort and learning.
Let's talk about practical steps. How can our listeners start developing a 10x mindset?
First, start questioning your constraints. What limitations have you accepted that might not actually be real?
That's a powerful place to start.
Second, practice radical clarity. What would you do differently if you had to achieve your 10-year goals in 6 months?
That really forces you to think differently.
Third, embrace experimentation. Remember, 10x thinking isn't about having all the answers, it's about being willing to try new approaches.
And being okay with failure along the way?
Absolutely. In fact, research shows that those who achieve 10x results often fail more frequently. They just fail forward.
This has been incredibly insightful. Any final thoughts for our listeners?
Remember, 10x thinking isn't about pushing harder in the same direction. It's about choosing a better direction entirely.
And sometimes that means doing less to achieve more.
Exactly. The question isn't, how can I work harder? It's, what would make everything else irrelevant?
That's a perfect place to wrap up.
And remember, if your goals don't scare you a little, they're probably not big enough.
Now that's what I call 10x thinking. Until next time, keep pushing those boundaries.